They paint the sky with static lights, flickering screens, a neon guise. Truth dissolves in the digital haze. We're all just pawns in that twisted maze. Purple or blue, white or black, we all bleed red, that's a fact. Fools, fuels, freedoms, that's all we need. They sow division, we plant the seed. Gaslight nation, we see through the game. Tired of the fire, tired of the same. Hungry minds with empty plates, they serve us fear, they call it fate. We're breaking chains, we're waking fast, stay hold on us, we're never lost. Purple or blue, white or black, we all bleed red, that's a fact. Fools, fuels, freedoms, that's all we need. They sow division, we plant the seed. Gaslight nation, we see through the game. Tired of the fire, tired of the same.
Welcome. All right. Good to see everybody in the chat. You know us potatoes. We have lots and lots of eyes. We like watching all the interesting things that humans do up top, right? From food, fuels to freedoms. I cover everything from serious to everything else, right? All right, so it looks like we had Ducky in first. Welcome, very much appreciate you getting in, getting the chat started. Dave, really appreciate you dropping all the links first off. If you haven't liked the stream, please like the stream on your way in. Mr. B, welcome. Modded you up, buddy, so you should be good to go now. Homestead, appreciate you coming in and appreciate you engaging. TVT, welcome in, buddy. Appreciate you being here. TNT, sorry. Appreciate you being here. Blood Logos, greatly appreciate you being here, buddy. All right, looks like that might be everybody in the chat so far. Yeah. Yep, everybody's hoping that you're doing well, Homestead, so we're good that glad to see that you're doing better. All right, so as we usually start our days off, if I can get my stuff in order here, I would like to do my inspirational quotes here. All right, so mine, you don't need applause to be essential, right? We don't need recognition to be something that's important in this life, or at least I believe. I don't do this for the recognition. I do this so that I can get, well, I would like to make something of myself, but I would like to bring people to awareness of what's going on in the world. Jess, very much thank you. Appreciate you being here and engaging in the chat. Ducky, appreciate you joining that. Oh, Real Rain, I appreciate you being here. Before you go, if you haven't left already, really appreciate the engagement. And Apprentice, you're going to be flying under the radar today. Okay, fair enough. Appreciate the engagement while you can. All right. So, so you don't need applause to be essential, right? We don't need to be always striving to be something in life. Not everybody can be the cream of the crop, right? And then the other one is, of course, from Bruce Lee, because you all know me, right? The key to immortality is first living a life worth remembering. Kind of go hand in hand as far as I'm concerned on those two. You don't have to have applause to be essential. All you have to do is live a life worth remembering. All right. So much for under the radar. Yeah, you don't message me and say you're going under the radar and think that you're going to be not called out. Jeez. You're good, Rain. Appreciate the engagement, like I said. All right. So today, what I'm going to start out with is something funny. Let me get that over to the screen that it should be on. Now, I've covered Nick Freitas before. I've covered, what is his name here? Ryan George on Facebook. These are coming off Facebook. So, just kind of show you a couple of the clips that I've saved off Facebook that I find funny, and we'll go from there. So we'll pull you into that screen here. Make sure nobody else is new in the chat. And before we begin here. All right. And then this is the Ryan George, like the last one that I showed you here. Does funny clips. This one is the world's first school.
I don't know you. I'm one of the people that people...
Sorry, hold on. Let me restart it.
Hi there, young man. Hello. Oh, hey, I don't know you. I'm one of the people that people decided decides things. Oh.
The person that people decided that decides things. I've decided is always so hilarious.
Okay. So good news, you're going to listen to this guy a lot now, I decided, okay? Hi. What? Why? Well, because me and him, we're going to die. Oh, my God. What?
Oh, my God. Right now?
Right now? No, probably not right now, but eventually, everybody our age is going to die. Oh, because of time and stuff? Exactly. Very good.
Exactly. Like time and stuff.
So this guy's going to tell you the stuff that we know, so you know it by the time we're all dead, okay? Kind of dark. Yeah, it's a little morbid. Try not to think about that part too much. But then...
Yeah, and if they would only actually tell him the whole truth, right? MPKNME, very much appreciate the engagement in the chat for me. Welcome in. And Tyler, almost snuck past me there. Appreciate you being here, buddy. Hope the stream went well. I'm not part of Rumble, so I wasn't able to catch it yet. Maybe one day I'll be, up to par, I guess. But if you don't know that Tyler has a Rumble and you have Rumble Premium, he does Rumble Premium streams, and I'm sure he'll be appreciative of anybody that can get on and see him when he streams. I don't know if that's going to be Sundays before I stream or how that's going to go for him, but check him out, help him out if you're on Rumble. All right. So let's get back to this. Sorry.
And this way you could tell it to people that are younger than you one day, and then you'll die too. We need people to continue knowing stuff, right? It'd be a
need to continue knowing stuff, right?
lot of work if they have to start over at zero every generation. But it's not just about...
Oh, MPK. Yeah, I don't think he has decided. He says he's in all of his videos, he says he's decided. I've decided. So maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Passing on information after we're dead, you know. This is also to prepare you for your life. Oh, well, that part sounds kind of nice, so I'll be prepared for anything I want to do. Not really, no. You'll have a base of understanding, but you'll be pretty dumb still. Okay. But I'll be able to get a job? No, you need experience to get a job. This isn't going to give you experience. Well, how do I get experience?
You have to have experience to get a job. This isn't going to give you experience. So you're not going to be able to get a job right out of the school, but, you know, it's going to educate you, right? Welcome in, Wickmoto. Appreciate you joining the chat and the engagement here. All right.
You need to get a job. Oh. So yeah, you're gonna listen to this guy tell you things, okay? And you're gonna listen attentively every day. Could I have some money for pencils? No. Okay. Wait, is this like an everyday thing? Pretty much, yeah. Almost every day of the week, you'll have to work on stuff for several hours. Oh, no. But at the end of the day, you'll go home. Okay. But don't worry, he'll give you some stuff to work on there, too. What? Yeah, that will be a thing. Hey, could I have some money for paper? Nope. Oh, and also he's gonna check in once in a while to make sure you've been listening properly. That's right. We're gonna have these things called exams. What's that? That's gonna be the stressful thing where I make sure you've been listening.
Make sure you've been listening. The stressful thing. Oh, that's funny.
We're also going to have tests. That's going to be the stressful thing where I make sure you've been listening. We're also going to have quizzes. That's going to be the stressful thing where I make sure you've been listening. But sometimes those are going to be a surprise. Oh, that's fun. Oh, that doesn't sound like a fun surprise. I can say the word pop before those sometimes. Would that help? Not really.
Not really. I can say pop. Yeah, that's going to make it so much better. I always loved pop quizzes. Not. Welcome in, Tara. Appreciate you joining the chat. Oh man, you guys crack me up sometimes. All right, so hopefully I don't drop the stream. I'm getting a poor signal, but we'll see if it holds this time. I haven't dropped it the last couple weeks, so hopefully this is decent.
No. Well, we need to pretty much keep you stressed out and on edge. That's good practice for when you're older. Hey, can I have some resources for when I get stressed out? No. All right. So, okay, I don't really like the sound of this. Oh, it's non-negotiable. How long is this gonna last? Years. Oh, no. Hey, can I have some money for... I'm not really gonna give you money for that kind of stuff, okay? So lay off. Just try being more passionate about your work. What does that even mean? I don't know. Maybe buy the stuff you need with the money we'll be paying you for your time. Oh, so you're gonna pay me so much I can afford to just buy those things myself? No. Oh. So this is like a year-round thing, like just all the time? Well, no, you get 2 days off a week, and then obviously the summer is just completely off. Why?
Well, of course we're gonna have to have the summers off because nobody's gonna pay attention while it's that nice outside. Duh. Oh man.
Because of farming? Yeah, there you go. Because you gotta do some farming. I don't do that. Nobody I know does that.
But
because it gets hot in the summer,
true.
Okay? Rich people want to go to their lake houses. Is that why? Well, that doesn't seem fair to poor people. Look, do you want summers off or not? Yeah, no, I'll take them. Hi there, young man. Hello.
Do you want summers off or not? Oh, okay, I'll take it. Never mind. I'll stop talking now. If you haven't checked out Real Wolf Facts, Real Wolf Hat Facts on Facebook as well. He's a pretty good creator. I like his stuff. He tries to bring the attention to the degeneracy somewhat similar to what I'm trying to do. I've been watching him on Facebook for a while. He's got quite a following there. So we'll check out what he has to say here because we'll be covering this today, in fact.
Accused of shooting Jarvis Davis at a Fort Worth apartment after Davis would not share his French fries. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager spoke to the victim's mom today. Peyton.
French fries. Yeah. Unalived him over French fries. Oh, man.
Well. That's all I can say.
Well.
This is proof that white folks aren't the problem. I don't see any white people doing this. The white man this, the white man that. I have not seen white man shoot another white man over French fries. This is rare for me.
Yeah, this is wild, honestly. Ducky, Steven Crowder has a really good series on black fatigue. Is that the white and gray or on the gray issues, white and black on the gray issues or something like that. I think I did a review on that maybe. But yeah, so anyway.
But to me, this is the most nigga shit I have ever heard in my entire
Getting on it.
life. The argument was over French fries. You ate all your French fries, so you asked your boy for some, and he didn't give you some, so you shot him in the head. I'm really at a loss for words for this. Somebody lost their life over French fries. This is the black on black crime that needs to be talked about. He shot another.
This is crazy. Yeah, I'm going to cover it here in a bit, but we're kind of just covering something funny right now. So anyway, he means freedom fries, right? Yeah, exactly. Exactly, TNT. Oh, that's funny. Crowder's Canadian. You're welcome. Tara. Yeah, we were all having a kind of a debate in my Discord. If you're not part of my Discord, join my Discord. It's in the description. It's a fun place to be. And some debates happen every once in a while. Hopefully all fun and games. Everybody's all lighthearted there. And of course, Nick Friatis. This one is he's always pretty good.
Well, this is interesting.
This guy's been mayor of New York City for 1 month, okay? What he promised was a free bus for everybody, grocery stores run by the...
Yeah. Well, we told you when it happened that it wasn't really going to be a possibility, didn't we?
government for, you know, poor people to get food, which is a good thing, I think. And that rent was...
Yeah, that would be a good thing. I mean, for sure. But where would the money be coming from, Brev?
...to go down. Those are like the big three things he promised everybody. So today he's got his first meeting with the city about the budget. And what he says is, I'm raising property taxes on everybody by 10%, okay? Rent's not going to go down, actually. He's draining $1 billion from the rainy day fund, which I don't even know what that is, but it doesn't sound good. And none of the free stuff that he promised is actually happening.
Gosh, that sounds horrible. If only there was some way you guys could have predicted this. Like, if only there's somebody you could have talked to that maybe lived under a similar regime where communist politicians promised utopia but delivered...
If only. Imagine that. If only. Huh.
Nothing but misery, where the whole promise of free stuff was just an angle to concentrate political power in order to dominate over the very people that they were supposed to be helping. If only there was someone or some group of people, maybe from Eastern Europe or Russia or Cuba or Venezuela or North Korea or China that could have informed you guys of this.
That's a lot of places that maybe, just maybe, could have possibly warned of this beforehand.
You could have avoided this whole mess. But now I guess you get to go through it. Cheers.
Cheers, sucker. Oh, his mugs are always great. Tread around and find out, sucker. All right. And then, of course, the funny one. If you haven't seen this guy, he's on Facebook. I don't know for sure anywhere else. I've only seen him on Facebook, but it's Big Daddy Leo. He has some videos of him watching videos, and it was watching movie TV with Big Daddy Leo. And then this is just like every once in a while he'll do reaction videos and stuff like that. This is freaking hilarious. His facial expressions always crack me the hell up. Oh man. And this game. Oh man. he just orientates his junk. Oh, okay. Oh man. Only in games. Only in games. All right. Enough of the fun and games, I guess. We'll get into the topics. So starting out, if you haven't seen some of my older stuff, I talk about the ecosystem and food and what we should be looking out for. And this is something that's really interesting to me. So this was done, let's see, let me pull back out where, this is done by Dr. Eric Berg, DC. If you haven't heard of him, obviously, like myself, I hadn't heard of him before now, but 14 million followers. So he's obviously doing well for himself. This is what is known as not for human consumption. It was made 6 months ago. It was just talking about processed foods and things like that. We'll kind of skim through this real quick. And it leads into the other video that I'd found that was more recent.
Resist stuff like this. The food companies, especially junk food companies, have a big problem. There's no profit in whole food. There's no profit in selling meat and eggs and even milk and cheese, especially if you're doing grass-fed and you're doing high-quality eggs. There's no profit in that. The margins are so slim. A farmer.
And we all know this, right? I mean, we all know that they have been kind of adding stuff to our food that's cheaper and cheaper. But as we get more and more chemicals added to it, it becomes more and more addictive, right?
That you can't resist it. So number one, they had to make food irresistible. Number two, they have to make sure that you're never fully satisfied, okay? Because if you're satisfied, then you'll just eat one or two or three or four, right? But with these and with all this other food, you cannot just have a few.
And that's the thing is everything that they add into these foods these days, MSG, a bunch of different kinds of artificial sweeteners and things like that will trigger different parts of your brain in a way that it becomes an addiction. It's not just easily brushed off. And so we need to be paying attention to this kind of stuff. And I think Canada actually has a better regulation of their food system than we do, considering we have a bunch of Canadians in the chat. Salute to you guys. Of course, nothing wrong with that. If you have better foods, that'd be cool for you, not for us, obviously.
The anatomy of an addiction. Now, how do they do this? Well, they combine a couple things. First of all, they have to create what's called the bliss point. What's the bliss point? It's a special combination of ingredients. Flavor scientists have spent a long time to figure out what perfect combinations of sugar, starch, seed oils, salt, and flavoring to hit the.
Yeah, Wikimoto, I would say 90% of what's on the store's shelves is chemicals. It's not even food. It's food-like products. Most of the stuff that we eat nowadays that's heavily processed, unless you're growing it yourself, is it's not food. It's food-like products. It's tricking your brain into thinking that you're eating something that you're not, and your body into tricking it into thinking that you're full. And you're kind of just filling your stomach with starches and carbs and stuff nowadays.
This maximum pleasure, especially after you consume all the sugar and starch and it affects your blood sugar. Now we're dealing with a body addiction because the artificial flavor chemicals are very, very different than natural flavor chemicals.
Well, and even natural flavor chemicals, like the things that I've heard about the natural flavorings, you can get anything from beaver anal glands and stuff like that to beetle excrement or something along those lines to make different things for the food here in America, from what I understand. MBK says she would say yes, but the Americans will say no. Fair enough. Canadians can only talk because they have Kevlar vests of America wrapped around their frozen. Oh, Dave, that's funny. All right, getting back to this.
In other words, these artificial flavors create way more intensity, like 300 times more.
And that's the other thing is if you look at strawberries nowadays, you've got a strawberries like this, where if you look back in the day, they were like this. If you grow your own, they're like this. And they're way more sweet. They're way more potent with the flavor, sugar content. But the nutritional value goes way down as soon as you start adding that sugar to it.
More intensity than natural flavors. So the intensity of these flavors bombard the brain with so much stimulation. And if you do this multiple times, you're going to have memory of these foods. And so you're going to be driving down the street and you're going to see a Thai restaurant and you're going to drive in there because your brain remembers this pleasure. And if you're going through stress or you're tired, that's going to kind of give you some relief, when in fact you're actually going to be causing more stress to your physical body and your brain, because when you do this over and over and over, you start developing dopamine resistance. Because the junk food is virtually empty, you have nutrition. There's like nothing left.
And that's the other thing, is they've basically gone away from gone away from nutrition in the foods nowadays, because there's no money to be made in nutrition. So they've gone away from that. Don't censor my words. I'll censor if I want to.
There's no phytonutrients. There's no vitamins. There's no minerals. Now, they will spray a couple synthetic vitamins to give you the sensation that you're getting something. And they'll probably put on there, oh yeah, the orange juice has vitamin C, when it's just, you just put a little ascorbic acid on there. But in reality, there's like no nutrition. And there's one more thing about all this food that is missing.
Food. It's not, well, I mean, it's missing for sure, but there's a bunch added to it too that makes it not food anymore.
And that is protein. They don't have any protein. A person will continue to eat carbohydrates and other things until their protein requirement is satisfied. These foods,
like I was saying, you just fill your stomach with carbohydrates and starches and crap that make you feel full, that make you feel like you're doing something, but without the nutrition, without the protein behind it, you're not actually filling yourself with anything that's worth anything. Goes into some of the maltodextrin and things like that.
you know, we think complex carbohydrates are
So these are the things that he talks about to avoid.
healthy. Not all of them. All right. The next one is plant-based meats. Okay.
And see, this is the big one here along. I believe he starts talking about it in the next one about 3D printed or lab grown meats. And I want to be focusing on this in my channel as well. So when this topic came up, I wanted to go ahead and touch on it today. Oh, you son
These
of
are
a
what's called clean meats.
boomer
They're anything but clean. Plant-based meats, you're using all sorts of similar chemicals and hidden junk food and sugars.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, is it's all plant-based, but then they have to use chemicals and things that make it taste like meat so that it attracts people to eating it. If nobody wants to eat it, obviously there's no money in it.
Just like any of the ultra-processed foods that you would see at the grocery store. And one big thing that they'll do is they'll use a very inexpensive protein, soy protein isolate. This is a very highly industrial processed, ultra-processed protein that has virtually no flavor. But there's a lot of marketing to get you to eat plant-based everything. But again, you're not going to see a push to eat actual plants because there's not much profit in actual green plants that are grown in soil. I want to touch on lab-based meats.
Yeah, and that's again, it all comes back down to the bottom line. There's no money to be had in plants, to just grow plants, because then at that point in time, what's to keep you from just going and growing your own plants at that point in time? Hey, Varmicat, welcome in. Appreciate the engagement. I missed the stream earlier today. I was kind of bummed, but I did watch it later and gave you the view and a comment. If anybody doesn't know that Pharmacat has her own stream, she's trying to, get herself out there as well. She's got some sheeps that she shares with us, and they're pretty freaking cute. I'm not going to lie. All right, back to this lab-based meats.
To my knowledge, they're not out yet. They're coming out, and it's not going to be a vegan product because they're going to have to use cells from an unborn cow's fetus. And then they're going to extract that and put it in a huge...
And this is where it gets really kind of... I go, no, I don't know if I like that idea. Besides the fetus embryo information, it gets worse.
Container and try to get it to reproduce. And apparently these cells are immortal. Okay, they can live on forever, very similar to cancer. But presently, it's very expensive. They have not figured out a way to reduce the cost. What they're doing now to create this demand is to try to wipe out or give actual beef a black eye. Thus the attack against red meat and cows and these farmers. But I think
Yeah, so again, there's nothing wrong with red meat. It's they're trying to get us to be afraid of it so that they can push the plant-based and the lab-grown and the 3D printed and all of the garbage that you'll eat the bugs and be happy, that kind of garbage.
the next one, fast food restaurants, is what I loved. I'd pull up in one of those restaurants and I would notice that there's this huge line down the street. There is a ton of MSG and there's a lot of flavor chemicals. And they even put things in the pickles, right, to keep them in a certain color and a certain taste, but it's all artificially good. Then we get
Artificially good is a relative term, I guess, because yeah, it is not good for you at all in any way, shape, or form. It just makes you think that it tastes good, so you keep coming back for it. That's just it, Dave. This is not what God intended. This is not in any way, shape, or form what God intended when he gave us the plants, they gave us the animals. Yeah, Jared, I do too. I love red meat, man. A good steak, a good burger, and some potatoes. I call myself a potato for a reason, man.
to maple syrup. Real maple syrup is very expensive to extract from a tree.
So yeah, like he's about to say, maple syrup. The process to make it is very expensive. So most of it is just high fructose corn syrup and sugar and all of the crap that makes you think that it tastes real, and it's not actually real stuff. He goes into lab-based or artificial crab, right? The fact that this is just cod with some chemicals to season it to make it seem like it's actual crab, but it's not. It's probably not even good for you. And again, the fact that it's codfish and they chemical and then they dye it, and it's not good for you in any way, shape, or form. He starts talking about sugars and the calories associated with that. So the best thing for you, like he mentions here, is actual honey. But again, honey has been infiltrated with fake corn syrup, fake honey being corn syrup as well. So this brings me into this conversation here. So in Texas, apparently, she made this 4 days ago. So I'm not sure exactly when Texas has done it or where they're working on it. But Texas has put in a new statute, law, something like that.
Warnings you usually see on heavy-duty prescription drugs.
There's nothing wrong with codfish. It's not the fact that it's the codfish that's wrong. It's the fact that they have to then make that codfish taste like crab. Codfish isn't crab, so they then take and chemical filter and throw chemicals to it and dye it. All of that is artificial way of making it, and it's not. It just ends up not being good for you because of that. It's not the cod that's bad. It's just the way that they then process the cod to make it seem like it's lobster or crab. Sorry, crab.
The ones that basically say, pay attention, this stuff could actually kill you. Well, in 2026, those labels are moving out of the pharmacy and into your grocery cart. And once you see what's behind this change, you're never going to look at a box of crackers or a healthy granola bar the same way.
So like I'd mentioned before, RFK is trying to move forward with labeling of dangerous things, right? Red 40, all of the different kinds of, pretty much all of the colorings is not good for your body. It messes with kids' attention spans and all sorts of things. Like they're basically misdiagnosing kids with ADHD because of the dyes and stuff. And this is just speculation. I'm a potato. Take it with what you will. But there's been studies that have been finding this to be a good possibility
If you're new here, my name is Lily. I'm a certified nutrition health coach. And y'all, we are in the middle of like a total health revolution. It is changing so quickly. I'm having a hard time keeping up over here. But today we are going to cover the 3 massive changes happening right now in the food world. 1, the not recommended for human consumption label, a new labeling law that is honestly making me laugh.
Yeah, so this is this is the main point of this video that I'm bringing forth, is the fact that they're now going to be labeling products in Texas that they state this, right? This product contains an ingredient that is not recommended for human consumption by the appropriate authorities in Australia, Canada, the Europe, the European Union, or the United Kingdom. And obviously, how much do we really care about some of them places? But a lot of this, I would probably lean to agree with labeling as not recommended for human consumption. For example, maraschino cherries. Maraschino cherries are made as a decoration. Like, they are literally, like, I'm pretty sure on the label it has stated not for human consumption forever. And people just ignore it. They don't care. They eat that like right out of the jar. They don't care. So this is probably not going to do anything, but it is a hopefully a good step forward to bringing people's awareness to the fact that what we eat is not real food.
I think it's hilarious, but for big food companies, they are furious. They're literally trying to sue to stop it. Secondly, we'll cover the global magnifying glass, why Canada and the US are putting little magnifying.
So again, high in sugars, to bring your awareness to it. Let's see. Go, Tyler. Yeah. My brother says red dye turned his nephew into a little tyrant. And that's just it, as I've been hearing it firsthand experience. Anecdotal, of course, right? But I am pretty sure I've seen at least 1 or 2 studies reaffirming that, essentially. Yeah, Dave, that's the thing, is what's the solution? Spend 10 times on food? That's what you'll have to do to eat healthy. My suggestion is grow as much as possible yourself. Do as much as you can by yourself. And I understand that's not very easy for the people that live in big cities. But we need to be forcing the hand with this kind of idea to bring the idea back into real food, so that the manufacturers could produce real food at the cost that we can still afford, because we're not buying this anymore. And I understand that it's going to be hard for a little while, but I don't know exactly what else to say. We need to get away from junk and get people healthy again somehow.
Glasses on your food. And lastly, we'll cover the secret cleanup and lawsuits, how big food is fighting to keep you in the dark, meanwhile changing their product recipes. So whether you're a label reader or someone who just wants to be able to buy their food without needing a chemistry degree, well, these 3 changes affect everyone walking into the grocery store today. And my goal is to help keep you guys informed with all of the changes in our food supply and how to live your healthiest lives. And if you appreciate this kind of content, then don't be silly, subscribe to Lily, and let's jump in. The first thing...
Cheesy, but yeah, I mean, by all means, check her out. Check out her channel. I don't know why I keep saying that. Check out her channel and give her a subscription. It sounds like she's trying to help people out here. So not recommended for human consumption. We won't necessarily watch a lot of this per se, but we'll just kind of touch on it.
Big change is the not recommended for human consumption label. In 2025, Governor Abbott signed Senate Bill 25, the Make Texas Healthy Again Act. Now,
so again, it's Texas, right? So where I don't necessarily live in Texas, the people that do live in Texas will be probably benefited from this, maybe negatively impacted by it. I don't know. But long story short, because of the fact that Texas is so large, it's kind of like everything that has a label on it, you know, Surgeon General of California or whatever, everything goes off of the California standard. Same kind of idea. Texas is so large that when they start to produce these items, they're not going to try to make a box specific for Texas and then a box specific for everywhere else in the world. So this is going to impact everyone eventually, regardless of whether it starts as soon as the law gets into place or whether it takes effect later. This is going to take effect and probably make a lot of people mad. Probably. We'll see.
If you don't live in Texas, you might be thinking, okay, so what does Texas have to do with me? I live in Missouri, or someone lives in California. But the thing is, this law is changing.
Texas could change the way Americans eat snack foods nationwide, requiring a warning label on many popular food and drinks, reading "not recommended for human consumption."
That could impact candies like Skittles and M&Ms, chips, including Doritos and Ruffles, and
I really don't know how it would not affect 90% of the shelves like we were talking about earlier, because again, this is a good portion of our food is not food. It is chemicals. It's food-like products that is not going to be recommended for human consumption. Hey, Stacy, good to see you. Appreciate you being here and engaging with us. Good topic to catch. I think I'm pretty sure you've mentioned how you've kind of done your due diligence on this as well.
drinks like Gatorade and Mountain Dew.
It's targeting products using ingredients like bleached flour, food dyes, sweeteners, oils, and preservatives.
And that's another thing. Like, I've never really kind of understood why we've never raised an eyebrow at bleached flour. Bleach is not something you're supposed to be ingesting. So why would it be okay for us to bleach things that then go into our bodies? That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Food dyes, sweeteners, I can kind of understand them being okay-ish, depending upon what they're made from. But unfortunately, there's no money to be had in natural things, right? So they always have to go to unnatural. They have to start to make it a different way. And then it goes to crap, right? Oils and preservatives. Preservatives are another one. I don't know how we ever didn't raise an eyebrow at the preservatives and the fact that they've gotten longer and longer. You can leave a loaf of bread for almost 2 months now before it starts to deteriorate, just starts to mold and stuff. And then the oils, they all started as lubricants. Almost every single type of oil, if it wasn't actual like tallow or lard or something like that isn't even an actual like liquid oil, all of the oils, I'm pretty sure, started out, or olive oil maybe, started out as lubricants for engines. They didn't do well enough, so they threw them onto the shelves and said that they were food.
Preservatives. Those are legal and common in many processed foods in the U.S., but some have faced regulation in other countries.
I believe that the rest of the nation will look to Texas and say, they're onto something. And just maybe we can curb the trend of us spending more on healthcare than any other nation in the world.
This law targets 44 specific chemical additives like red 40, yellow 5, and titanium dioxide.
Again, red, yellow, red, all of them. Red 40 is a big one. Yellow 5 is a big one. That's probably why she mentions those specifically. But all of them are not great. And as it states here, and then the titanium dioxide, again, why we've ever been okay with some of these additives, looking at them and going, yeah, potassium aluminum sulfate. Yeah, that sounds tasty. Sodium aluminum sulfate. That sounds tasty. Like, why were we ever okay with this? Hey, King with me. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate your engagement. Stacy, I appreciate you chatting while you can and just the listen. Even if you just chat and leave, that's cool too. I appreciate the engagement, everybody. If you haven't liked the stream, please like the stream, share, subscribe. Appreciate everybody being here for sure.
This law requires a warning label that says, warning, this product contains an ingredient that is not recommended for human consumption by authorities in Australia, Canada, the EU, or the UK.
They have no nutritional value and
Yeah, they have no nutritional value. That's, again, like I said, all of these things, especially if you can't pronounce them, trisodium phosphate. Any kind of phosphate is usually not a great, it's usually a preservative. There we go. I'm pretty sure those are the preservatives. And we don't, I mean, whole grain corn, sugar, rice, flour, corn syrup starts to get a little iffy. Canola and sunflower oil, now you're starting to get off. Salt, okay. And then it just gets into the crap. There's nothing good to any of this below that. We should have stopped at about salt there. And even that, again, corn syrup, at least it's not high fructose corn syrup, I guess. Oh, is that Indy? I don't know if I've ever actually asked who the king with me was. Appreciate you guys being here for sure.
And are only used to enhance the colors of food. Kellogg's cereals, including Fruit Loops and Apple Jacks, contain yellow 6, yellow 5, red 40, and blue 1. According to the Cleveland Clinic, red 40 can lead to hyperactivity, including ADHD, behavioral challenges like irritability and depression, skin irritation, and migraines. The other
Yeah, so again, like I was saying before, it is a study. There have been studies that have been claiming this. It's not just anecdotal like I've been mentioning before.
dyes have been shown to have negative side effects.
If you really think about it, the wording is so particular. It's not like they're saying you have to put a label that says contains artificial food dyes or a label that says low in nutritional value. Instead, it's literally a label that says not recommended for human consumption. This is what we're calling the black box of the grocery store. Traditionally, the black box warning was reserved for the most dangerous prescription drugs on the market. But now that same level of seriousness is hitting the food aisles. And you know, sometimes I do wonder if by adding new labels to packages, if it's actually going to change how people shop and what they consume. Are people really going to stop buying things like Fruity Pebbles?
Okay, there we go. I see it independent now. I don't know why I don't see all of my chats. So I don't know. I still don't know who King with Me is. Appreciate you being here, King with Me. I believe they interchange high fructose corn syrup and corn syrup. Okay, so it's basically the same. That wouldn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. All right. And just remember, always remember, I'm a potato. So if I ever mess anything up in the chat, it's because I am a potato. I don't claim to be a smart person.
I can't help but think that if a mom is reaching for some fruit snacks for her kids and sees this warning label of not recommended for human consumption, I do think it's going to be a psychological game changer. I mean, I know for myself, back when I used to eat more foods that were ultra processed and I was struggling with weight gain, acne, and irregular menstrual cycle, I was eating foods with these 44 ingredients every single day because I thought that if a food was on the shelf, then it was safe. But this law is now putting the truth front and center. You can't miss it. And so I really do hope that these black boxes are going to start changing how people shop and what we consume. That brings.
Thank you very much, King with Me. I appreciate you letting me know who you are. Not that I needed to know. You know, I'm just nosy like that. I'm a nosy potato or an IE potato. I don't know how that works, but thanks for being here. Thanks for letting me know who you are. Potato, yeah, exactly. Potato. Who knows? All right. So let's get back to this.
Us to our second topic, the global magnifying glass front of package movement. As of January 1st, 2026, Canada has now officially flipped what's going on. And now if a food is high in sugar, saturated fat, or sodium, it now has to carry a little magnifying glass on the front.
Cereals, drinks, and other prepackaged foods in Canada's grocery stores will soon have the symbol of this black and white magnifying glass. It signals customers about foods that are high in fat, high in sugar, or high in salt. Food companies have until January 1st to apply the front label. It's an addition to the nutritional value table that's much easier to read.
So again, just trying to bring people's awareness to those specific things that are an issue that should be brought, to attention too. Again, I agree with this. I'm not sure how much it's going to impact things, but I hope that it actually starts to bring people's awareness to it, because again, maraschino cherries have never been supposed to be for human consumption, and yet we still eat them. People still eat them. They don't care. So hopefully this does something.
Simple, it's visual, and it interprets the data for you. And even though this is happening in Canada, at this point, the MAHA movement and RFK Jr. are finalizing this similar kind of label here in the US. If a food is high in sugar or sodium, it will get a symbol on the front of the package as well. We are finally treating ultra-processed foods with the same caution that we give to pharmaceuticals. One of the biggest targets of these new high sugar or high sodium labels are sports drinks. The ones that are neon blue and are basically sugar water with the side of Red 40. Red 40, the artificial food dye linked to hyperactivity in children and banned in other countries. Yeah, I don't touch any foods, sports drinks, or sodas with artificial food dyes in them. Instead, I use Element Electrolytes, today's video sponsor. You can get
we'll
the
get past
caramel
that.
assumption. That's a violation of their free speech. They filed massive
This is wild. Yeah. So the companies are trying to come back at the law because it's a violation of their free speech. Can't make this up, people.
federal lawsuits claiming that by telling you an ingredient is not for human consumption, that's a violation of their free speech.
Sorry, King with me, like I said, people still eat them, but they've never been for human consumption. They never have. Good to see you, Scott. Appreciate you being here and engaging in the chat. And again, it looks like we have 22 likes, so very much appreciate the engagement there. If you haven't shared the stream, I would appreciate that as well. But if a like is all I get, appreciate it.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
They're literally fighting for the right to keep you in the dark. Big Food's argument here is basically, we have the right to put chemicals in your foods without you feeling scared about it. But
So we had a discussion on one of my live panels about basically this exact topic, right? About how, where does the freedom end for companies, right? And I agree with this. I do. I don't know exactly how we can do it without the government, but it needs to be regulated. The greedy people can't continue to do this with our children. Hey, Homestead, appreciate you engaging where you can. Finished folding a load of laundry. Appreciate you being here. The worst part of the industry that's regulated has former industry heads in the FDA. Yeah, and that's the thing right there. Is we have too many people that have their finger in too many pies.
AHA movement led by RFK Jr. and HHS Secretary Marty Makary, they're saying that the scare is actually just the truth. For decades, these companies put the artificial food dyes and other funky chemicals they're adding to their products in tiny font on the back of their packages. And now the truth is being dragged to the front. And so the second thing that big food companies are doing is they're changing their recipes. Have you noticed lately some of your favorite snacks having the label new recipe or even now made without artificial food dyes?
Yeah, this is where it gets cool and kind of wild. Basically, they're just kind of trying to, it was our idea from the get-go. It's kind of weird there. Hey, Marte, appreciate you being here. I was supposed to be in Jubilee last month debating a doctor who opposes RFK's health stances. I couldn't make it. Dang, that would have been cool to see. Appreciate the engagement, buddy. Appreciate being here. All right.
Producing Simply Naked. PepsiCo removing the artificial dyes from Cheetos and Doritos, making them totally colorless.
Which again, I don't see a problem with that. I mean, it's still not great for you. But just remove the chemicals that are going to be extremely detrimental and leave them colorless. Why? I know why. Because we as people see bright colors and we want it. Right? You see shiny, we're like birds, right? Shiny. So I understand, but it's food. It's like, you know, when you pull a piece of pie out of a pie pan and it crumbles into a bunch of crumbles and you just put it on your plate. You can't eat it in one piece anyway. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter what it only matters what it tastes like, what it may be like, the texture of it, and the health, right? The protein, the nutrition.
The idea here from the company is that they are reinventing some of its most iconic snacks, Doritos and Cheetos, 2 types each, and they're basically removing some of those artificial dyes and flavors.
Yeah, that's not because these companies care about your health all of a sudden. It's regulatory avoidance. These companies.
Yeah, they're trying to avoid the fees that are going to come along with it. The taxes, that kind of thing. Independent thinker. Yeah, I don't care about color. That's just it. Is I don't care. Just give me something that's actually going to give me health. Be able to continue my life the way that I would like it to, not degrading in ability to think cognitively and the ability to stay with your joints the way that they need to be and things like that. So yeah, I won't necessarily continue on with this. Like I said, was kind of something I came across and I wanted to touch on it. So Lily Kane on YouTube. Again, if you haven't checked out the channel, go ahead and check that out. This is mainly what I wanted to cover today. Again, a Shoe on Head video here. So if you don't know who Shoe on Head is, you probably do by now, but we'll cover here that here in just a second. So yeah, Jess, speaking of food, the sheep are yelling, hope to be back to catch the rest. Hopefully you hear me. If you want to put I think you have a YouTube channel, if I remember right. You want to put it in the chat at any point in time and I'll post it. You can maybe see if you can get some viewers. Because she does rams, sheep, stuff like that too, like Pharmacat does. Yeah, most of this is hijacking our nostalgia via propaganda through surface level optics and fleeting impulse purchasing, feeding us poison at cheaper and cheaper costs. That's the biggest thing. Is back in the day, Little Debbie and those snack cakes, they were super, super good and we would eat the heck out of them. And now I find myself reaching for them, expecting that flavor, that taste, that goodness, that nostalgia feeling. And you bite into it, it's just like, oh my God, really? And you throw it away, but you've already spent the money on it. You've already continued to provide for that company to stay in business. It's great, crazy what we've gotten ourselves into. Yeah, Mr. Bede, color doesn't make things taste good. Doritos used to be just corn chip colored. Yeah. Why does it have to be anything but just the flavor of, or the color of what you're crushing up to make the product? I don't care that the food isn't colorful. I care that what we're eating is actually food. I completely agree with you. All right. Well, so this is basically what the thumbnail was about: cancel culture. We talked about cancel culture in one of my open panels, and I kind of pushed back on how it should be okay, right? We should be doing it back to the left because that's how they learn. We are doing the same thing back to them. We're showing them how it feels, whatever the case may be. But this is where it gets a little concerning to me. Independent thinkers, I don't like most Little Debbie products. It tastes artificial. Yeah, I used to like them. And I don't know how long ago it was, but they changed the recipe to all artificial crap and it went to crap. And then I think it was maybe before that they went bankrupt, or they went bankrupt after. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, they changed their recipe, sold out. It was just, anyway. we'll get into this cult of the cry bullies.
Episode of What the Hell is Going On with your host, Ugly Belle Delphine. Now, before you ask, yes, there is an Epstein
Ugly Delphine? What the heck? Oh man, that's kind of low on yourself.
Files video coming out. I feel like everyone has like streamer brain nowadays, and like every fucking video has to be breaking news in order to get the most views. But I am taking my time with it. I'm sure you understand there is a lot happening. You know.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is I try to take my time and understand things. I don't usually break news because it doesn't usually do me very good. But this is basically talking about a streamer. Let me see if we can get...
For the few of you watching this channel who are employed, there's a very popular Twitch streamer named Emaru. She's a cosplayer and just kind of a fun, chill, normie video game streamer. Well, the other day, someone in her chat asked her opinion about ice. And this is what she had to say.
Like, there's a certain extent where I'm like, okay, sure, I get people wanting big content creators to, like, say their opinions on, like, important topics. I get that, right? But it's like, if you need a streamer who doesn't even know anything about politics to tell you about politics, you probably just need to get off the internet.
In a world where it seems like
Yeah, that's just it, is not everybody needs to be in the political scene. Just because a potato wants to be in it doesn't mean everybody wants to be in it. If you want to ask my opinions, I'll probably tell you to go off anyway, because really, it doesn't matter what my opinions are, right? It matters what the truth is. I want you to understand where both sides are standing. And if she's not even in the political streaming sphere, why does it matter? Oh, anyway, we'll get into this. She gets into her ad of the day, so we'll just skip right past that because we all know Ground News is awesome. If you haven't checked out Ground News, I suggest doing it, because I do utilize it, and it is a good place to get your news.
I'm sorry if I sound even more like a prepubescent boy in this video. I am a little bit sick, but I am here, slaving over a hot laptop for you. If you guys saw my last video, you know I am quite critical of ICE. I don't think we should abolish them, of course, but I think it is good and healthy to criticize your government. I am a political culture war commentator. I talk about political topics often. People come to me to hear my political opinions. But not everybody wants to be a political YouTuber or streamer.
No, we don't, Shu. We don't care. We just come to the kid. I don't know. I do like some of her takes, but I'm just kidding. She got some pretty good takes.
And not everybody wants to listen to a political YouTuber or streamer. Sometimes we just want to have fun and talk about other things. There are lots of other things to talk about. Sometimes we want to look at funny memes or watch funny videos without having politics shoved down our throat. So a lot of people thought it was really refreshing when a cosplay streamer was basically like, I don't want to talk about politics. Why are you coming to me for politics? It was a perfectly sane, rational opinion. So of course, like half the internet had a problem with it. It's just not that hard to say f ICE. It's really not that hard to say f ICE, to be
Really? Like this is what I'm talking about, right? So I support cancel culture. Cancel culture is actually great if you point people to an exit with a replacement solution or alternative that is more optimal to that which we want canceled. Marte, yeah, I can understand where you're coming from there. This is where it starts to get a little iffy, because as soon as you signal that people can do it, then the mob gets a hold of it, and this is what happens to someone who has no reason to be canceled at all.
honest. It's so hard to just say f ICE. It's really not hard to say f ICE. Jesus Christ, how hard is it to just say f ICE? How hard is it to just say f ICE?
If that isn't leftist talking points, propaganda, regurgitating what you've been told over and over, and like, I can't even imagine what is. This is wild to me right here.
How hard is it to just say f ICE and move on? Oh my god. Just say f ICE. It's not hard. Is it so hard to just say the line? Say the line. Say it. Jesus Christ, like at this point, even if Emaru
say it, like, good lord,
did want to like abolish ICE, even if she really did think f ICE, she shouldn't say it. Like I wouldn't say it at this point, because this is This is creepy. This is like a horde of zombies chasing after you. Hey, it's actually super easy to stream and have opinions. I'll show you. F ICE, f Donald Trump and everyone in his administration, f Elon Musk, free Palestine, US is on stolen land built by stolen people, Luigi did nothing wrong, abortion is healthcare, leave trans people the f alone.
Yeah, and I've got my own opinions. ICE is doing good. Donald Trump is the president, and his administration is who he put in, and the president is who we all voted for, or at least the majority. Elon Musk is doing the best that he can with the situation that he's in. Free Palestine, yeah, you know, whatever. That's their deal. U.S. is stolen land? No, it's conquered land. It's socialized. What is the word that I'm looking for, right? I don't really know what I'm looking for here, but U.S. is not stolen. It is ours at this point, and not mine. I'm a potato. Luigi definitely did something wrong, but it doesn't matter what the person did. You don't have the right to take the law into your own hands and just do something just because you think that you have the right to do it. Abortion is health. No, it's not. So abortion is not in any way, shape, or form healthcare. You had a choice before you spread them. Both of you, both parties. And leave trans people alone. Leave the kids alone and we'll leave you alone. I'm pretty sure I can get agreement on that one for most of my chat.
These people literally just speak in bumper stickers, dude. Just like copy pasting the internet leftist starter pack. What the hell am I looking at? I hate the Reddit ass. Hey, it's super easy. It's crazy, like 1,000 years ago, this dude's ancestors were hunting mammoths. And now he's on here like, Men should not be speaking like this. I'm sorry. We need another war. The post that
Independent thinker. Yeah, I'm not going to necessarily post that, but I guess it would be cold. Just saying. Oh, that's funny. She was actually honestly saying she knows nothing and has no business commenting. I must have missed that. Let's see. Yeah. It's Stacy, thanks for that. Not sure if you're still on food stuff, but look into the aborted fetal cells in the majority of out foods. Pepsi, Nestle, yeah. Kind of weird what they put into our foods there for sure. Looks like I'm pretty much caught up on the chat. Conquered, yeah, we bought most of it. Exactly. Well, that's fair. I'm a potato. I misspoke. Right. That's the point. It came across very legally and very cordially. It was purchased. At the time, it was probably purchased for a decent amount of money in this day and age. So yeah, I appreciate the correction there, King with me, JJ. We bought most of it. I agree. Yeah. TNT. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. 90% of America was purchased. Yeah, we did it the right way. It's not stolen. That's all that matters, right? It was just not stolen. Come on, give me a break.
really seemed to kick this all off was made by Denims, the self-described largest female political streamer. Only because I don't stream, Denims. Only because I don't stream. Anyway, I don't have any, like,
Wow, somebody's full of themselves, I guess.
Personal beef with Denims. This isn't like an own Denims video. We used to be kind of cool years ago, but she apparently has some opinions on Emaru, so let's hear her out. Never thought I'd see the day we'd be fence-sitting the modern Gestapo. First of all, she's not fence-sitting. She's just choosing not to talk about politics. Like, in order to
yeah, again, you don't have to have an opinion. Really, especially as a female, you don't have to. It's okay. I'm not saying you don't have to. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying that you don't have to. Right? You have the ability to not have to worry about politics, or you should have that ability. There's a difference between cancel culture, which is forcing an accepted opinion, and voting with your dollars, which is the foundation of capitalism. If you don't like a company, pick another. Thank you very much for that, Apprentice. I completely agree with you. We vote with our dollars. We need to get back to that. I think it was Target or something like that tried to go with the woke thing, and they quickly regretted it. Bud Light, I'm pretty sure, did the same thing, quickly regretted it because we voted with our dollars and said, no, you don't need to campaign. You just need to vote with your dollars. Again, Apprentice, appreciate that.
You actually have to say something. She didn't even say anything. Like, how do you even know what her opinion is? Second of all, modern Gestapo. Why is everything the f***ing Holocaust? It's totally normal to criticize ICE. It's totally understandable to have issues with the things that
Yeah, I have no problem with criticizing our government. It is okay to ask questions. It is okay to raise awareness for things that may not be going the right way. But to sit here and say, I know what's best, I know what you should be doing, is not the way we should be doing it. It should just be raising the questions and letting people get to their own understanding of those questions. Again, I don't want you to think like me, right? God forbid you be up in my headspace for any longer than my streams be, but I want you to think for yourself. I want you to think critically and logically about things and understand that we need to be working back to ideal or as close to it as we can.
they are doing. But modern Gestapo? Don't you guys get tired of this shit? Like, don't you guys get tired of saying, like, isn't this exhausting after a while? Everything is Nazis, everything is the Holocaust, everyone is Hitler. It's like nothing else.
Yeah, it doesn't all have to be like that. Like Dave is saying, there's some people I watch to get a break from politics. I'd be pissed if some of them started in on politics. Exactly. You go to them to get away from politics. You go to watch them play games or shoot, out in the firing range or whatever, right? That's fun. It's enjoyable. It's not something that just heavy on your soul like politics are nowadays. Not all of us can be constantly berated with this garbage like myself is and shoe on head. There's some of us that apparently can take the brunt of it better than most. I don't know. Maybe I'll break down. I don't know. Maybe I'm better than somebody that I've decided. I don't know, right? Nestle makes billions of gallons of Michigan's water. Nestle takes billions of gallons of water from Michigan, and they never had to pay for any of it. That's not good for sure. The leftists will use things that drive emotions. It's pretty much all the left does. Probably. ICE are just men that are doing their job, like the men picking up our garbage. Yes, Homestead, I completely agree. These men are just doing their jobs. And if it wasn't for the fact that they were fighting back against it so hard, we wouldn't have to go out to the streets and basically recruit Joe Schmo. We wouldn't have to be going out and getting people that have a quote unquote bias if they do. I don't even believe that they do. But we wouldn't have to be doing that if people that are here illegally, like actually legally, that should be here, would stop fighting back against the people that shouldn't be here just leaving and then making it back the way that they should make it back. What's so hard about that? Because seriously, there are many, many that come in truly, honestly, the right way. And that's neither here nor there. You're all right. I am super bad about typos because, I'm potato. So, all right, getting back to this.
Bad ever happened in history. Like, what did they used to compare bad things to before World War II? Oh my god, you're literally Napoleon. Also, I love this. Racist chud. Like, where did the racism part? Like, where did that come from? Listen, I don't get on camera and start talking about cars or math or taxes or investing or going outside or the plenty of other things I don't know about. I sit here and talk about the gender war and the culture war because I'm good at those things and that's what people watch me for. That is my lane and I stay in it. Emru likes what she's doing. Her audience likes what she's doing. There are plenty of other channels that will regurgitate your political takes back to you. Just turn on the TV. Turn on CNN. Most normal people are sick and tired of celebrities just like spewing their political takes completely.
Yeah, a lot of people don't really care to listen to political. That's why I'm trying to be like my open panels, right? The Thursday open panels. I'm trying to bring a different content to the scene. I want to bring awareness to this garbage but I don't want to weigh your mind so heavily. That's why I start out with motivational quotes and funny stuff, and I'm trying to bring the light to it, right? But we also need to be letting people be who they want to be and not trying to force them to have an opinion that they don't care to have. Again, we should have those other streamers that are allowed to be different so that they can give somebody somewhere to go that is not the same old stuff. I love all of my circle. Tyler TV, if you haven't checked him out, check him out. Cool Vic, if you haven't checked him out, check him out. Marte, OTE with Marte Rules, check him out. All of these people are trying to raise awareness for this kind of stuff. And I appreciate all of them. But obviously there's going to be different kinds of streamers out there. Trey Solor, for example, Trey_Solor. He does streaming of games. There's many people out there that do just content to make fun. Not fun of, but just fun. And we should be allowing them to be there like that. It's funny to think about politics on some of those that should never be in politics. And now we put in a happy little tree, happier than those despicable lefts ever have been. Not quite sure if I catch there, but thanks for the comment, Apprentice. All right. Yes. Yeah. King, you have my permission. Dave, can I use being a tater spud an excuse for the typos? Yes. You have the proto-taters okay to do it. Yes, you can. Only if you subscribe. Yes. Thank you, Apprentice. That's the stipulation that has to be going with it. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. All right, getting back to this before we run out of time.
Prompted. I don't care what Glub Shitto thinks of politics, okay? Why does Glub Shitto have to get on stage and start talking about how we're on stolen land or some shit? Why do you need your political opinions thrown up into your mouth by a celebrity like a fucking baby bird? Like, do you really want Sydney Sweeney throwing up in your mouth? Don't answer that. Please don't answer that.
She's right when she says most streamers are not qualified to talk about politics. Okay, here's the thing, dude. You actually don't have to be qualified to talk about politics to say f ICE. It's not that hard of a concept.
Yeah, you kind of do, actually. Because if you have no fucking idea what they go through on a daily basis, trying to deal with criminals, regardless of what you want to believe, they are criminals. And some of them are very hardened. And they have to deal with them. So what are they supposed to do? Seriously.
You actually don't have to know what you're talking about in order to just say the line. What? You should look into a topic, do your own research, come to your own conclusion, and form your own opinion on the topic. You should not just blindly, mindlessly say the line.
You know who doesn't do political content? Cutie Cinderella. Cutie Cinderella literally never does political content. And even she's capable of saying f ICE.
Well, maybe she shouldn't. Hey, Scott, I didn't know that you were the first time being here. Appreciate you subbing, man. I greatly appreciate that. Yeah, heck yeah. W. Scott, appreciate you being here, man. All right.
What about Cinna? You don't have to be a political creator to recognize that it's not hard to say f ICE.
You don't have to be a political content creator to say the line. All your other friends are saying the line, Emaru. Why aren't you saying the line, Emaru?
ICE. Okay, but unironically though, f them.
So maybe this isn't necessarily cancel culture. I don't know if they're trying to cancel her, because I think they might actually try to cancel her by the end of the show. But long story short, the mob justice, right? And Shuan Head talks about it, where she was basically forced to dox somebody or to disavow someone, and she regrets it. And that's the thing, is I will never disavow my friends because of the simple fact that no matter what, I know they have my back. And even if they disagree with me, even if we disagree, we don't have the same takes, it does not freaking matter when it comes down to the people themselves and what we're willing to do for each other.
Straight up. Hey, f them. Yeah, it's f them, don't care. And if you don't like that I say that, it's f you too. You know what I mean? It's really that easy for me. I'm telling you right now.
There's
well, then me too, I guess, because I'm definitely not going to save ICE because they're just officers put into a position to do a job that has become an impossible situation to decide which way they need to be going with this. So I stand behind them for the simple fact that they are trying to do their job. Now, I agree that when it comes down to it, that just doing their job isn't an excuse. But if the people that are asked to leave your home don't leave your home, what would you do? Right? There's somebody there that you don't like anymore. You don't want to be there anymore. You were cordial with them up until now, but now it's not necessary for them to be there anymore and you want them gone. What would you do?
Maru's roommate saying the line. Aren't we all proud of her? By the way, where are all her friends during all of this? Where are all her morally righteous, good guy, big streamer friends?
Hey, Farmy Cat, appreciate you being here. I don't know if you're still around, but got to get back to work. Appreciate you. Yeah, appreciate the engagement. Have a good night.
While this is all going down, while she's being dragged by half of the internet for doing absolutely nothing wrong. This girl who literally just came out of an allegedly abusive relationship. This girl who literally just got assaulted, grabbed by some freak at a convention. Now this girl is going through all of this. I guess it's fine to be silent when your friend is getting dragged by half of the internet, but don't you dare stay silent about current thing. I don't even know this woman and I'm sticking my neck out for her.
Yeah, I don't know Emaru. I've never watched Emaru. But I will get behind Shu. I will get behind Emaru because never once watched her. But for one, I do watch Shu, and if she's behind her, I'll probably be behind her. But the simple fact, well, maybe not always, but the simple fact that she is not a political streamer getting ragged on for political takes is why I'm having a stance right here. Because this has got to stop. Regardless of what I think about her, what I think about any of this kind of attitude, we've got to figure out a way to curb it somehow.
Because it pisses me off seeing this kind of shit happen to people who absolutely do not deserve it.
If you're above the age of 18, you should care about politics in your fucking country. You don't get to be like, well, I don't.
Where I do agree, you should care. It doesn't have to be your life. You don't have to be focused on every single step that the political sphere takes. You just need to understand who is doing what and why. Right? It doesn't come down to the actions themselves of what the individuals that have been hired do. You don't hold a company accountable for the things that their employees do every single time. Yes, they are the face of the company in a lot of cases, but you don't go to McDonald's, for example, and hold McDonald's accountable for one burger flipper. You hold that burger flipper accountable. Stop acting like it's the person that hired the person's fault. If the ICE agents are doing that they shouldn't be doing, they're probably being held accountable. They should be if they're not. I agree with that.
Agree with this whole taxes thing. So I'm just not going to pay for it. You can't say like, well, I'm just not going to care about all this politics stuff.
When someone doesn't have an opinion on a political topic, people like you might get a little mad. When someone doesn't pay their taxes, the government comes and arrests them. Okay, so that's the difference between those things.
There's this weird idea in America especially where like you can just be an adult and be like, oh, I don't care about politics.
Thanks for dropping that, Jess. So if you don't, if you would like to check out another shepherd or another, sheep channel, Jess the Shepherdess at Shepherd's Nook, check that channel out and give it a subscribe to help some people out. Difference between left and right: the right can disagree and be fine with each other. The left wants to hang out for not saying, hang you for not saying the lines. And that's the thing. She even gets into that here in a bit. It gets a little wild. Thank you, Dave, for dropping that in the chat. If you would like to check that channel out, please go give that channel a subscribe. All right, back to the show.
What?
Many people, most people, do not care that much about politics. I know to you and me that's like mind-blowing, that's like unfathomable, because our whole life is politics, our job is politics, like I get it. But most people's lives do not revolve around politics. They do other things other than fight with strangers online. Crazy, I know, but
Crazy, I know, because yeah, I unfortunately fight with people online myself. Hey, just me. Appreciate you coming in and joining the chat. I know you've been busy, so I appreciate you being here.
man, do I envy them. I was so much happier before.
Oh, Hardwire, appreciate you hopping in. Just saw you before just as I started that show back up. So appreciate you being here, buddy.
I knew. Sadly, it is getting harder and harder for the average person to not care about politics because politics is seeping into literally everything. Politics will be bending you over and spreading your cheeks and going in dry whether you want it or not. And unfortunately, the people—
Jesus, Shoe? What the heck, man?
Who are like, I just want to be left alone, are the people who are the most fucked by politics. Also, more importantly, Emaru wasn't saying that she doesn't care about politics. She was saying she didn't want to talk about politics. I feel like that is a huge difference. I care a lot about, like...
Yeah, that is a big difference. Just because you don't want to say your... And she could have a very solid stance on it. But does not mean she needs to be saying it on her stream. I do, because I'm a potato. And that's what I'm here for, I guess. I don't know. But she doesn't have to. Not every streamer has to be a political streamer. Hey, Chaos Theory, appreciate you being here. Appreciate the engagement. All right, back to this.
Skincare, but I don't get on here and talk about like peptides and collagen to my audience because they don't give a shit. They're here to watch me say feminism is doo-doo and make silly little faces at the camera. Yeah, you like that shit? I hate when grown women don't have a mind of their own. You are 28 years old. Please develop a mind of your own. All she does is pander to anime gooner men. No mind of her own. I never liked Emaru, so finding out she's stupid and doesn't have a mind of her own is nice.
Oh, what the Oh man, the internet will never cease to amaze me with the stupidity of that. Stacy caught up from the beginning. Now I'm at 2 times speed autistic crazy. Fair enough. Appreciate you catching up and being with us here.
Audacity! If she didn't have a mind of her own, she would have mindlessly parroted the shit you want her to say. She would have mindlessly just been like, fuck ICE. If Emaru came out and was like—
It's exactly like, that's what, again, like if she didn't have an opinion, if she didn't care about politics, she wouldn't have a problem with just saying, yeah, I agree with you. Just fuck them, I guess. Whatever. Like, I don't, like, it's wild.
Actually, I think ICE is doing a fine job. Do you think they'd be like, ah, yes, she has a mind of her own? No, absolutely not. They are not angry that she doesn't have an opinion. They are angry that she doesn't have their opinion. The absolute audacity to say that this woman doesn't have a mind of her own while thousands of you people swarm her like drones, barking orders at her to say the line. You guys literally operate like the fucking Borg. So what I'm gathering is that Emaru is a grown woman who acts like a frail, silly little girl to entertain fat, dirty, incel Asian fetisher weirdos and is okay with that but draws the line at saying ICE is bad. Emaru and As—
So I'm seeing that you can't form an actual coherent debate rebuttal for her taking the stance that she did, so you just had to go to personal attacks. Yep, sounds about right.
Audience are the same. Incels love Emaru because she confirms the image of the anime bimbo stereotype that incels worship. She definitely cultivated—
Again, I don't watch her, so I'm not speaking from personal experience by any way, shape, or form, but she doesn't have to be a political frickin' streamer. She doesn't have to have a political stance. She doesn't have to tell you what she thinks.
An audience who, in the end of all things, are reactionary. She appeals to violent racists who fetishize Asian women. What the f is this Asian fetish thing? Are they just saying this because she's fucking Asian? Like, I'm trying to find a clip of Emeru saying sucky sucky $5 or something, but it doesn't exist. I don't know what to tell you, man.
It's not a coincidence that she answered the question this way, and that her fan base consists heavily on Asian fetishes.
I don't know where this is coming from. And the woman saying this is literally an OnlyFans, like an Asian OnlyFans model. Like, I'm sorry, are you really the person to be talking about fetishization here? The most insane part of all of this had to be when her ex-boyfriend, her allegedly abusive ex-boyfriend, posted his own ice in the middle of his ex-girlfriend being canceled for not saying that. Like, how fucking petty do you have to be to subtweet your ex like that? Another character involved.
Good Lord. Hey, Don't Call It Art. Appreciate you being here, buddy. It was good having you on the panel the other day. I appreciated being there. Emeru stopped doing the Steak and Eggs podcast because the other hosts, Tectone and Asmongold, were getting political on their own channels. It's ironic that she separated herself from them. That is interesting. I appreciate that feedback because, like I said, I don't know Emeru personally. Like I don't watch her. But I'd heard, like, she talks about her being friends with Asmongold, and they're still friends. So they went their separate ways and can disagree and still be friends. She isolated herself in a way. I think there's a lesson to be learned about that for sticking with your people. I completely agree. Like I said, I will not be disavowing my friends regardless of how they think politically, because again, I know I have some weird off the wall takes sometimes, and they're probably stupid, a lot of them, because I'm a potato. But that's why I'm here, trying to get out of my echo chamber so that I can understand the world.
In all this is former booby streamer Caseytron.
It reminds me of whenever Amarath started wearing a cowboy hat, because that's whenever she started going like...
Amarath? Did she really just try to pull that? Like, this is so much more interesting than Emeru is.
Full Nazi, basically. She started wearing the cowboy hat. It's like whenever these Texas girls in like these Austin, Texas streamer circles.
Damn, I'm already tired of her. Like, I can't even, like, what the heck, man? Holy cow. Okay. Here we go.
Girls start wearing cowboy hats. That's whenever you got to watch out.
A woman in Texas wearing a cowboy hat?
No. What? The audacity of such. What is wrong with these people in Texas? Jared, one of the major issues with Hollywood being so stupidly outspoken is that now normies think everyone who's moderately famous needs to spew their politics, no matter what. And that's exactly it. Appreciate you being here and engaging in the chat, Jared. We don't all need to spew our political takes. I don't disagree that she should have a political take if she's going to vote. Obviously, you should be informed in the voting process. But to expect, what happened to you don't tell people how you vote? Right? Why is this any different?
Lord, take me out. Take me out back. Behind the shed, put me out of my misery if I ever become this politically brain rotted. Holy shit.
Like, you know that she probably has like weird incels donating her hundreds of dollars. It's
Come on, like, speak up and actually speak like you want to be there. Come on.
Incel like men. They like a woman that doesn't have any opinions. I think that she also
like you, apparently. None of your own opinions. You just regurgitate what you've been told.
Plays into how a lot of incels will fetishize Asian women. Her whole platform is just like appealing to like the worst fucking men. She's like basically,
because this is so much better to appeal to people.
Dude, it's gonna be the death of me. Before making this video, I watched a bunch of Emeru stuff, and I saw no signs of like pick-me behavior at all. At least with some streamers or some YouTubers. People could be like, oh.
Yeah, she was pointing at me there. I know. I get it. I feel called out, and it's all right. I'll admit it.
They criticize women, so they're trying to be like one of the good ones, and they're a pick-me. Like, okay, sure, like, That's retarded. We all know that's retarded. But at least I can like kind of see how is Emaru a pick-me? She doesn't even do that shit. Like, where is the pick-me thing coming from? No, really though, what makes her a pick-me and not the booby streamer or OnlyFans models calling her a pick-me? You are literally selling your body for men to consume. If men—
Right? Seriously though, like again, the don't objectify me. And then you literally turn around and turn yourself into an object to be bought online at anybody's discretion at any time that they want to. And if they're underage, they can even do it. And so you're literally like, wow.
Men do not pick pictures of your ass. You can't pay rent. There's no bigger pick-me on earth than a fucking porn star. And me. I don't care about being called a pick-me. I've been doing this for over a decade now. I'm used to it. I've been called it thousands of times. I am a 35-year-old married mother. I do not give a shit. I do care, however, when other women are called pick-me for the crime of not following a hive mind. I see it so often in like the VTuber community. Like all these VTuber anime women will be called pick-me's for just saying their opinions. You have to understand, like, to these people, whenever a woman has like an opinion that is not like the corporate HR approved opinion of the week, whenever a woman doesn't toe the line of the current thing, in this case, whenever a woman doesn't say anything, she's called a pick-me. You know, she just must have these opinions for men. No.
And again, like literally, if she is a submissive, meek, Bible loving, God fearing woman, especially the last two, she's going to accept that she shouldn't necessarily be loudly outspoken. You have a right to your opinion. I will never, ever, ever want you to think that you don't have a right to your opinion. But to sit there and say that you know better than the patriarchy as a God-fearing woman, now as a secular woman, just understand that what is so bad about being provided for? What is so bad about having your life given to you and have all you have to do is stay at home? If I had a woman that like provided everything, if I could find someone that had the means to just provide for me, I would probably accept it and be a stay-at-home dad. Wouldn't necessarily be ideal per se, but I would accept it because in this day and age, we're in craziness. But women should have the ability to be able to stay at home. That's what I want out of what I'm trying to achieve here. Let's see. Homestead, I've said hi to you, right? I see people saying hi to you, so I've said hi to you. Good to see you anyway. All right.
Other reason. Every woman is secretly a big progressive feminist. And if they're not, they're just doing it for male attention. Because I'm sure someone who looks like this is really starving for male attention.
And then in my opinion, it's like she's not entertaining whatsoever. She's like,
and you're more entertaining? I'm already bored with you. I haven't even watched much of your stream.
I would literally rather watch paint dry.
So true, because you know what is far more entertaining than a cute, high-energy cosplay streamer reacting to memes? This is way more entertaining. And if you don't agree, you're just like an incel.
Well, I guess I'm an incel because I definitely don't agree. I hope that I don't ever get to that point. Like, you must hate your life to do this. Like, you don't have to do this. This is not a choice of a job that most people are like, yay, I'm going to be well, maybe nowadays, I don't know. But for me, for example, yay, I'm going to be a right-wing streamer that's going to be hated on and attacked at all times. That's cool. Why? Anyway, you must hate your life if you're sitting there going, I don't care to be here, but I'm here anyway.
Okay, but Eventually, after a few days of being dogpiled by the most annoying people on Earth, Emaru came out with a statement.
Hello, it's very rare I will speak my mind, but I'd rather get my thoughts out there, so apologies if this is long. There's a clip from my stream that's been circulating a lot, so I'd like to explain it for anyone who was hurt or shocked by it. It should go without saying that no one deserves to live their life in fear of being killed or taken away from their homes or families, regardless of who is doing it, but especially not because of ICE or any other government agency. I understand the world is a very cruel and messed up place. You don't have to study politics or actively read the news to know that. I would never want to invalidate anyone who struggles with those things, and an agency causing fear and suffering deserves zero support. To me, that's not even political, it's basic human empathy.
Now, I thought that statement was perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it wasn't like really pulling to either side. It seemed like a pretty decent comeback. Yeah, they didn't like it.
My issue with it is she didn't have to make it. She was basically forced to come out and say her opinion. So did these freaks finally back off once Emaru made her opinion about ICE clear? No.
Of course not. No, of course not. And this is why, like, I don't know, like, it's at times I'll probably be kind of a dick about things because, like, I will apologize when I'm wrong. Like earlier, I tried to point out where I messed up, but for the most part, I'm not going to bend to the will of the mob, and that's what I'm concerned about with this mob rule, this mob justice, and how far we're going to let it go before we say, you know, what are we going to do to stop it?
Of course not.
Nazi response. TLDR, go f*** yourself in your PR apology. And there it is. Of fucking course she's another dumb c***. Girl, we are not as dumb as you look. You're still a racist chud, but continue to enjoy the money you get from your incel audience because they're disgusting, just like you. All I hear is
Jesus. The internet, again, will never cease to flabbergast me. Stacy, I am always called a pick-me. Yeah, I was picked over 20 years ago, did things a little wrong, and warning younger women to not make my mistakes. Thank you very much for that comment, and thank you very much for speaking out against it, going back from that type of attitude to being based, right? So thank you for that.
I support Israel and my name is Emaru. Wait, what? Where the f*** did Israel come from? What? I don't
Seriously.
like to talk about politics equals I'm a Nazi and I'm ashamed of my opinions. Everyone knows what's up. She's a fascist in disguise and is squirming. Emaru, you are garbage Nazi loving c***. You got orange around your mouth. Say F you, Asmongold. If you're neutral, you might as well say you're MAGA. Stand for something, ho. That's what Trump wants, for everyone to be quiet about it. The idea of get off the internet is so f***ing ignorant. This dumb c*** needs to shut her f***ing mouth. Thank God her downfall is happening. I've been hating on her since day one and knew something was off about her. Not a good—
What the f— Oh, yay! Woo! I hated her, so that's awesome that this is happening. Like, you really must hate your life. Seriously, this is wild. Like, I don't like people, so I just scroll past them. I don't like people, so when they fall, I just go, man, that sucks. I guess you did it to yourself. You lay in the bed that you made, I guess. I don't know. What's wrong with being a pygmy? The pygmy people are excellent hunters. Don't call it art. All right, fair enough. Not sure where that's coming from. I don't see it in the chat. Sorry. All right.
statement. She implicitly disavowed ICE, but not so much the actual Trump admin.
Yeah, you disavowed ICE, but what about the whole Trump administration? They're like literally the mouse from If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. I was like
Seriously,
reading that book to my
though,
toddler the other day, and I was like,
I gotta reference this book way too much probably, but seriously, this is like the epitome of that. She gave them a crumb and now they're wanting the whole ass cookie. Like, what the frick, man?
oh my god, this is literally Twitter. You cannot give them an inch, dude.
Of course are incel fans swooping in to protect the poor little 28-year-old.
Ah yes, incels, known for defending women online.
Right, right? Yes, because, you know, incels are a term of endearment for the masculine men that come in and swoop in, right? Okay. I don't think so. And that's exactly it, Dave, right there. that's where I'm basically getting at, and that's where Shoe on Head is kind of saying is she should have just said, should have stood on business and said, yeah, F off. Like, it is my channel. I do what I want on it, and you don't get to tell me what I do on my channel. Like, I will be open to suggestions as myself as the potato. I'm open to suggestions, but it is my channel ultimately, and I do not have to do anything that I do not want to do. So poor Emaru, like, she should have just been like, yeah, I don't give a shit to give you an opinion on that. I have my opinions. Deal with it. Like, so what? You don't have to know. You don't get to know. Oh, I got you. You guys are talking in the chat. Okay, fair enough. All right. Anyway, moving on.
What? What the f does the word incel even mean anymore? Does it just mean man now? It just means man. Man I do not like.
I had no idea this was a thing until yesterday. How come no one told me Emaru low-key a femcel?
Femcel! Emaru's a femcel! Oh my f- Do people just not know what words mean anymore?
Obviously not. Obviously not. I don't believe that a femcel can even exist. I mean, I don't really... I don't know why incel has become this thing that like people identify with. I don't know exactly what that is, because personally, I don't think of myself as an incel. I don't get it, but it's not because I don't like, I could probably, if I wanted to, I don't know. I'm not going to say I can, I can't, because I'm a potato. Let's face it. I'm not great looking, but, women, let's all face it, they can anytime that they want. And so even a man can go and get a streetwalker, I guess. But that's why I say I don't know how I feel about the words incel and femcel. But Emaru, I can almost guarantee for a freaking split second that girl is not a involuntarily celibate. If she's celibate, she's yeah. So King with me, sorry, buddy. So femcel would be what they consider a involuntarily celibate woman. But as we all know, or should all know, and if anybody wants to debate me, I guess we could maybe debate sometime about it, that women can literally go out and just say, if anybody wants it, they can have it, and they'll get it. Where a man, he can't do that, right? Unless he's really good looking, he's not going to get it. But a woman, most of the time, she's going to get somebody that comes out of the woodwork and says that she would take it, or he would take it. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. TVT. I'll check on that. Is it important, or is it just a DM? Let's see. Just me. It's so weird because you would think she's saying F ice or whatever she said would cause more backlash from people on the right than people from the left. The left just can't stay out of their own way. Exactly, just me. They can't stay out of their own way. If they would just like accept their place and understand where their line to toe is, maybe they'd make some headway. Yeah, incel, involuntarily celibate, is not a male-female based thing. Women being involuntarily celibate would be just an incel. That's fair. That's fair. Fair enough, Jess. Sorry, guys. Using words that don't really exist, to be completely honest, like Dave just said. All right, back to this.
How are they coming to these conclusions?
I mean, have you looked at her? I mean, look at her. Look at her. Just look at her. Look at her.
Yeah, sorry, I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it. Yeah, I don't. Again, if she's celibate, it's not it's by choice. That girl is cute enough. Like, she would be able to get something.
I think you guys just might be mentally ill.
We need to do something about these male-centered women.
Okay, first of all, nothing is more male-centered than centering your life around hating men. Men just live rent-free in your fucking head. Take it up with God, go to therapy, do literally anything else than make it our problem.
Yeah, again, we live rent-free in all these women's heads because, like, I've never done anything to a woman, really, not on purpose, not by design, whatever, and yet I'm treated like the scum of the earth when I try to talk to people randomly on the street.
F her, and especially f her bestie Asmongold. I hope they get kirked. 30-year-old woman too scared to say f ice to keep her incel audience happy. Let's hope she gets abused again. Couldn't happen to a better person. Next time this cunt is assaulted, I'm gonna laugh and laugh. F her and f ice and f you if you support this cunt. Emerald.
Holy cow! Well, I guess me, because I support her, because this is wild to me. She has her right to keep her opinion to herself.
Deserved what Miskiff did to her. Emaru for supporting ICE. I genuinely hope this bitch gets oh, okay. I reported that one.
Yeah, thank you.
What is wrong with these people?
Seriously.
See, you don't understand. I'm good guy, which makes it okay for me to say f***ed up things about bad guy. You think saying that to someone is f***ed up? Well, you should be abused too, because you're probably also bad guy. It's called being on the right side of history, Chud.
Chud.
Look it up.
Nazis deserve death, and silence is compliance.
May I just
Silence
remind the
is
audience
compliant.
that this is what she said.
If you need a streamer who doesn't even know anything about politics to tell you about politics, you probably just need to get off the internet.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Seriously, though.
a Nazi that deserves death. What?
After
What? Seriously, though. Like, she's just saying, like, get your own opinions. Don't ask me what mine is so that you have an opinion. I'm here. Me, the potato, is here to give you the power, the ammunition, the ability to make your own decisions. I'm trying to show you both sides of the spectrum, both sides of the coin. So I try not to be biased to one side or the other, because let's face it, guys, left wing, right wing, it's the same bird.
Making her terrible statement full of lies, Emaru decided to follow right-wing grifter Shoe on Head. Of course Emaru is now following a fellow pathetic pick-me for being quiet about ICE. They both don't want to piss off their 100% right-wing gooner fanbase.
For the record, my fan base is probably like 70% right-wing and 80% gooner. Okay, but for some reason, they didn't mind when I came out and harshly criticized ICE in my last video. Yeah, some disagreed, but for the most part, they didn't care. As long as you aren't preaching from an ivory tower with no nuance, rhyme, or reason, people don't care. I'll say some shit like, we should decommodify housing, and the right-wingers in my audience are just like, okay, commie mommy. These people cannot fathom a universe where people just disagree. Oh, you're just scared. You don't want to upset your chud audience. I upset my chud audience every goddamn day. You're the ones terrified of your own fucking cult. God forbid you only agree with 99% of the hive mind approved opinions. God have mercy on your soul. I do not envy you. Once you bend the knee to these people, once you apologize or capitulate, it's
As soon as you give a little bit, you give that inch, they're going to take a mile every single time. And this is what I'm concerned about. Again, with the cancel culture, this may not be cancel culture, because I don't think that Emaru was actually canceled because of this, but it's the mob justice. It's that mob mentality that I'm talking about. It's the fact that she just got bombarded with people about the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Why can't you just say the line? Why can't you just say the line? Why do you feel like you have to say the line? Why do you feel like you have to have an opinion on that? I don't really have an opinion on it. In fact, I still don't really know exactly where I stand on either one of those. I know that they were justified because of the simple fact that in the law, the way that it happened was the way that it happened. Get used to it. Could it have gone a different way? Possibly. Probably not. Right? So it is what it is.
over. These people don't actually want an apology. They want to humiliate you. They want to drag you down. At the end of the day, they have found a socially acceptable way to bully people. That's what this is. A lot of people in response to Emaru's statement were like, why did you apologize to the mob? You know, you bent the knee, you're a coward. And honestly, people don't realize how insane it can get. These people, the cult of the cry bully, they come in swarms, they get in your head, they prey on your empathy, they isolate you from your friends, they make you feel like a terrible person for having milquetoast normal ass opinions, or in this case, no opinion. And when you are someone who is not used to dealing with these types of people, or you are someone in like a vulnerable state of mind, it is very easy for these cult-like tactics to work. This shit works especially well with women in particular, not to be sexist, but it's just true. Honestly, you know, now that I think about it, the only people who are immune to this are like autistic people. I swear.
Yeah, Dave, that's just it, is the guy that is willing to hit and quit the hogs, your words, not mine, wouldn't be doing it because he wanted her, just because he wanted to get off, just wanted to get that pleasure. Isn't the same thing, but they can still get it, right? No, Dave, they stay at the crib and shop the EBT for $3,000 plus they have EBT. I know some low lives. Yeah. Unfortunately, I do too. I've seen a lot of weird stuff that has been coming out of that.
Swear to God, people on the spectrum are immune to the cry bully tactics. What happened is Emaru just saw like a shit ton of people who were mad at her, and she wanted to do the correct thing. Unfortunately, this is just gonna make it worse. And they're moving on to one of their favorite tactics.
The big question in everyone's mind is, well, are you still friends with Asmongold?
While it is appreciated that you are taking a stand and clarifying the clip, you do continue to be vague about how deep your associations with Asmon are. So hopefully you've cut ties with that hate-mongering Nazi troll Asmon, right?
And again, like I was saying before, regardless of what I think, like I don't watch Asmongold personally. I don't have a problem with him. You know, he came from Twitch streaming and gaming, so it wasn't my scene, so I didn't really know who he was until he got into the political sphere or whatever you want to call it. And so I've seen some of his takes and they seem good. Like if you haven't checked out Asmongold, by all means, check his stuff out for sure. I don't have a problem with him, but even if I did, what would it matter what her affiliations with him are? Again, what does it matter what he does if it's not like they're not married? And that's definitely not the thing. They're not partners anymore. If she separated herself from the whatever the podcast, whatever it was that I think Don't Call It Art had mentioned earlier. And again, appreciate that information, that feedback, because I didn't know that. But if she had stepped back from them, she had done her separation. She did her due diligence and stepped away from that so that she could be just the same old fun streamer that she was. That takes that's a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect for that.
Glad you made this and owned up to it, but you're still friends with Asmongold, so it doesn't read as earnest. Almost a decent explanation, but the elephant in the room is that your friendship with Asmongold is holding this back from seeming sincere. Okay, now what about your best friend Asmongold? Denounce Asmon or I'm not taking this seriously. Your friend.
And again, it doesn't matter. Like I said, I don't watch him. So it's not like I'm sitting here going, yeah, Asmongold's my, I'm a superstar, super fan, and he's the bestest of the world. Like I'm literally an unbiased person here saying that Asmongold is not a problem. Why do you have a problem with a young woman because of her affiliations with Asmongold? Like this is wild to me.
Friends with Assmold. Assmold?
I'm pretty sure she's still friends with Asmongold.
Now, whatever you think.
Oh, of course, Hassan Piker. Why does that not surprise me? Jealous much?
Asmongold, he is friends with Emaru. They are friends, even though they disagree with each other. Crazy, right?
I literally said, like, I don't agree with the things he says. Like, what do y'all want me to do? Like, fucking shoot him on stream?
Yes, that is what they want you to do.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think there was somebody in the chat that was mentioning that earlier. Yeah, they expect you to basically off him, to completely disavow him, don't have anything to do with him. And if you do, you're an enemy of the state. You're an enemy of the party. You're an enemy of the people.
Yes. Around 2018, I was facing nearly daily harassment for being friends with someone who was on the right. Hundreds of people were on my ass like every day. They were calling my job. They got emails of my family members. It was like nonstop. Now, this person was a good friend of mine, but in order to get all these people off my back, I did probably the cringiest thing ever, and I publicly disavowed her. Publicly disavowed a friend of mine over political differences. Now, for those of you who are new here, that sounds like something I would never do, but I did it. I bent the knee to a faceless mob of people who hate me. And in return, I received nothing. The harassment didn't stop, the hate didn't stop. Well, needless to say, karma is real, and the same thing happened to me years later. I was publicly disavowed by friends over political differences. This story.
So again, it's never going to be worth it. just tell them to F off and keep your friends, because the friends that are willing to take the mob side over yours, they're not really friends, right? So there's a few other things that I wanted to cover real quick. Like I had mentioned at the beginning, the fries incident, right? There was a senseless unaliving over fries, bro. So I went ahead and I pulled that story for us to watch real fast. It's only 2.5 minutes. So we'll get through this real fast. And then maybe one other story here, but this is the state of the world that we're in. Fries. Okay. I've heard of cases where it's like, I don't know what I can say online, but illicit substances that they end up getting unalived for, which I can understand. This is wild.
An 18-year-old accused of killing a friend after a disagreement over food is now in custody 2 weeks after the shooting.
Lamarcus Darden Jr. is accused of shooting Jarvis Davis at a Fort Worth apartment after Davis would not share his French fries.
French fries. My relatives, man, they're not worth dying over.
Fox 4's Peyton Yeager spoke to the victim's mom today. Peyton.
Steve, and multiple people witnessed this shooting inside of an apartment, including children. So Fort Worth police tell me they were confident in who they were looking for. We now know this 18-year-old suspect was tracked down all the way to Tyler, Texas. That's about 140 miles away from Fort Worth. He was tracked down to a hotel. Fort Worth police tell me it's possible he has family in that area, but he's now back in North Texas. That suspect is at the Tarrant County Jail tonight.
Yeah, Homestead. Men are amazing how they sacrifice their social lives for family. It's like the old saying, or whatever, newer saying, whatever. Men will sacrifice their happiness for their family, where women will sacrifice their family for their happiness. And unfortunately, the more and more I grow and the more I'm delving into the world, the more I see that being reality. So maybe we need to do something about changing that. How about that, ladies?
It's so senseless.
Senseless. That's how Sharika Kennedy describes the murder of her son.
Why? Now that's the question. Why? No, my baby was probably genuinely his friend. My baby wasn't expecting him to shoot him. Everybody in the house was like, they thought he was joking about the fries.
19-year-old Jarvis Davis shot and killed inside this West Fort Worth apartment near Camp Bowie in 820 back on January 28th. Witnesses told police a group just got back from grabbing food at Wingstop when there was an argument. Investigators say
this is where it gets really
didn't
crazy.
Share his fries with the suspect, later identified as 18-year-old Lamarcus Darden.
My son's girl.
This is where it gets really crazy, is the girl was there at the time, and the dude just like, pop, pop, ran.
Was laying on his lap at the time of it. And she said she just heard a glass break, a gunshot and a glass break.
Fort Worth police say
she's laying on his lap. Bro, like, come on.
Darden pulled out a handgun, shot Davis in the head, and took off from the complex. He was tracked down nearly 2 weeks later. Kennedy, a mother of 8, now with a missing piece in her family and frustrated, considering she says her son and Darden were friends.
Yeah, man. You gotta be, dude is serious about his fries. He had to have been serious about his fries. I mean, bros over hoes, whatever. Why all of a sudden is it fries over guys, man? Like, come on. Like, what is going on here? Oh, shit. Sorry, guys.
I'm never going to be okay with it. I'm never going to be okay with it.
And Darden transferred to the Tarrant County Jail yesterday. He is charged with murder. This evening, we reached out to his attorney. They got back to us.
Over fries. Over my relatives, guys. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it, but my feet show it. Them long fellows. All right. And so this is like the last story that I have. This is another terrible incident. I don't know what's going on with these people these days. Long story short, this mother was in a 9-year custody battle with her daughter. And when it wasn't going the way she wanted it to, this is how she handled it.
A heartbreaking end to a search for a missing mother and daughter. Less than 24 hours after they were last seen, their bodies were discovered in an off-strip hotel. Good evening. I'm Marie Mortera. Our Jane Davenport joins us here live in studio with more on what police, Jane, are describing as a murder-suicide.
Marie, they are describing it as...
So again, I don't know if they go through it on this particular clip, but she was in a 9-year-long custody battle and ended up taking her child's life and her own because of the trauma, the drama that's going through this court case, these 9-year-long custody battle. Now, I personally know people who are going through custody battles that are probably about this same time length. Given they're not like this, they're not going to do this. We need to be understanding where the other person is coming from. You used to love this person. You loved them enough to have a child with them. And now you're going to turn around and treat them like utter garbage for 9 years, trying to steal their precious life, basically, because I know how a lot of women are with their kids, and it becomes their life. Now, given if he was a better parent, then the courts should have been able to find that out in 9 freaking years, man. So if it had taken 9 years and he couldn't get her daughter away from her, she was obviously the better parent. And yet then she turns around and does this.
As a murder-suicide, but they're also describing it as a tragedy. Homicide Lieutenant Robert Price held a briefing tonight to share the preliminary details on the case, what we know so far. He says dispatch received a call at 10:45 Sunday morning for a welfare check on that mother and her daughter. Security at the Rio Hotel went to their room, and after knocking and calling, they received no response. But at that time, they did not have enough information to make entry into that room. So after speaking with family and others, security went back up to the room around 2:30 that afternoon to check on the mother and daughter again.
At that point in time, security decided to make entry into the room, where when they entered the room, they located 2 deceased females.
Lieutenant Price says security backed out of that room, called 911, and detectives arrived and secured the scene to begin their investigation. Now, he shared preliminary details from that investigation, saying the mother and daughter came into town for a cheer competition.
Sometime last night, the mother...
So again, we won't necessarily watch the whole report. It just kind of reiterates what I've just already told you. She was in town for a cheer competition, going through a 9-year custody battle. They were expecting that girl at that cheer competition. Where this is a tragedy, and I'm not saying that there's any excuse for it. What are those other kids going through for losing their friend, their co-performer, their performance in general, right? How much did that hurt the performance? What are we thinking when we do things like this, guys? You're so selfish. One last little clip. If you guys haven't seen the debate with Pearl and Anna Kasparian, I've been meaning to get through the actual debate, and I might cover it one of these times, but it was like a month ago. I came across this clip, and this one really hit home for me as a construction worker. And I just kind of want to share it with you guys real fast. It's only about a minute long.
What's your plan when men stop doing the dirty and dangerous jobs that keep society running?
Can you give me an example of which jobs you're referring to?
Logging, plumbing, crab fishing, oil rig. When men stop doing...
Yeah, and man, I like I said, I worked in the oil rigs. I worked on the patch, and I'm here to tell you there was maybe one female in the entirety of the 3 years that I was working in the patch. And I don't know if she was actually on the rig. I can't remember for sure. And I could be even remembering incorrectly. I don't know if I even remember one female in the oil rig. So what's going to happen if the men finally stand up next tomorrow and say, enough is enough. I'm done digging for your oil, that you get to sit on your dookus behind us in these nice air-conditioned offices doing nothing for the betterment of the infrastructure other than being the secretaries for the people who are. Not saying that that's women, not saying that that's all women or majority of women. I'm just saying that when it comes down to it, the majority of women that do work are in those same jobs that they were 100 years ago or whatever the case is. They haven't tried to advance themselves as much as they say they have. So what is going to happen? What are women going to do?
The dangerous jobs, when men stop getting married, when men stop having kids. What's your plan?
I'm not worried about that.
Of course you're not worried about that, because if you were to say that you're worried about that, then it would crumble your whole position, you smug little tart.
Of course you're not.
No. I don't have a plan, Pearl, for a situation in which men no longer do those jobs.
The very microphone you're using was built by men. The building was built by men. And there's no gratitude or appreciation. You just tell them they're not doing enough.
Oh, that smile, that smug smile. Like, you can't just be like, yeah, you know what, Pearl, you have a point. I don't know what they're going to do, what we're going to do. But no, she has to have this little stupid rhetoric smile on her face so that she can win the debate, the rhetoric style. This is the kind of that I'm really tired of. Because, yeah, according to the masses, the majority of people, Anna won this fight, won this debate. I don't see it.
Future is not going to be great for feminists. You guys are going to get the equality that you're asking for. Men are not going to protect women in the streets. Men are going to stop signing up for the infrastructure jobs.
Yeah, it's just like socialism. When you don't have to work, you choose not to work. As soon as people don't have to, other people will choose not to. And this is the same kind of concept. As soon as majority of the, not even majority of the people, a percentage of the men finally stand their ground and say, you know what? I'm going to just defend myself. I'm just going to do my own thing. What are you going to do about it? Because you have no plan whatsoever, ladies. I'm just here to tell you that maybe that should change. Maybe you should start getting a plan. If you think that you can do it without men, how? If you don't think you can do it without men, stop saying that you can.
The birth rate's going to keep falling, and the future is going to be bleak.
All right. So that's pretty much all I had. Hopefully that doesn't start again. Okay, perfect. That's pretty much all I had for today. Looking through the chat here real fast before I wrap up. See, my wife and I agreed years ago that if we were to somehow ever divorce, I would get the kids. She knows she can't handle being a single mom of 3, but I'd be able to handle being a single dad. And that is respect to your wife for that, being willing to do that. Because basically I've been trying to find a woman that would be willing to give me a kid and not expect it, because at this point in time, I don't know what to do anymore. I can't seem to find any woman that actually wants to be with me. But I really need to have kids, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. Dual custody is always the best work together, raising the kids. As far as dual custody goes, especially if the person is going to remarry, that becomes very, very taxing for the new person. Let's see. There are women in the oil field business. Who else is going to file the paperwork? Men. Men will do it better. I'm just kidding. I do agree with some things that women can do: paperwork, filing, secretarial work, nursing, that kind of stuff. I do agree with them being in those positions. I don't disagree that men could possibly still do them, though. So I don't know if it would be beneficial to keep them in the workforce or just get everybody out of the workforce, the women, as much as we can, so we go back to a one household income somehow. Again, this is hopes and dreams, right? I'm not saying that we'll ever actually get there. Yeah, Homestead, you know about the oil field then. Yeah, they'll break a nail if they throw that chain. That chain can take people's fingers off, arms off, hands off. Like that chain is serious work. It's not for the faint of heart, for sure. Their makeup doesn't matter if their face is smeared in pipe dope by the second hour on the floor. And that's why they don't like working those jobs. And that's just it. It's not that they can't work those jobs. It's they don't choose to work those jobs because they can't stay pretty in the pipe dope. All right. That pretty much wraps up. Let's see. I got to disagree. Tighter. Anna is an idiot, but she won that debate. Pearl sucks. Okay. Fair enough. Anna she's just a covert feminist, man. I don't know how you can say that she won it, but she did have a better rhetoric. She had a better way of debating. And unfortunately, we all know that is what it boils down to, is the ability to debate in this day and age, the sophistry, right? The dialectical, if we had taken it dialectically, would it have been that same way, though? I've worked oil rigs. Women brought us lunch and drove us. They wouldn't have lasted on the rigs in minus 50. And that's just it. Yeah, I worked on the rigs one year that it was negative 40 on the patch, negative 20 in town. I wasn't in the patch at the time. It was negative 20 in town, negative 40 out in the patch. And I think it was negative 60 or something like that in North Dakota, because we had rigs out in North Dakota at that time too. So I don't see them really doing that or being able to be that. Able to take care of that kind of thing. Our bodies regulate heat and temperature way differently. Women cannot handle the elements like men can. Hey, apologetic preacher, appreciate you dropping by. We're just about to wrap up, but I appreciate the engagement while I got you. And I think that might be the end of my stream at that point in time. But on opposite spectrums, they both suck. They both suck, but on opposite ends of the suck spectrum. Fair enough. All right. I'll go ahead and stop boring you with reading the chat and appreciating all the engagement that I've been getting. Can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys, really. Seriously. Again, I have 143 subscribers now. Thank you very much for the subscribers. If you haven't liked, subscribe, share, please do. But I have 143 subscribers, and I have on average 20 people that are viewing me on any live. And I have you to thank for all of that, right? But for that percentage to be viewing me every single live, I cannot even imagine what good that does for the algorithm and the fact that it's stable like that. So thank you very much again and again and again and again. But please, leave us a comment if you wouldn't mind. That helps the algorithm after the stream is done. Go leave a comment. You've already seen the stream, so you don't have to rewatch the stream, but I will be clipping them for videos and all that good jazz. As for right now, raid the Jake. So I can't raid. Unfortunately, I have been looking into raiding. I have to have like 1,000 people to raid. But if you would like to drop his link in the chat, we'll do a ghetto raid. We can do it that way. And Tyler, were you going to go live before you leave? I know that you're just saying later all. But are you going to go live? If you're going to go live, we can drop your link in the chat. But if you're not live yet, maybe not. But anywho, I'll stop boring you guys with that. But if you want to drop the link in this chat, we can do a ghetto raid to either one of those channels. And then as soon as I have enough subscribers, I will be doing raids to help people out for sure. But as for that, please take care of yourselves. Seriously. Within the United States, remember your Second Amendment rights. They're very important to yours and the whole world's freedom. Keep them handy. Your response time will always be faster than that of the police. Outside of the United States, I've gotten to know a decent amount of you, and I'm getting to really care about all of you. Not like I didn't already before, but you're all starting to be family to me. I care about every single one of you, regardless of your personal or political takes. Take care of yourselves. And as for now, the Potato signing off.
They build illusions pixel by pixel, telling you lies that sound official. Cameras smile while the people drown, and the truth gets buried 6 feet down. I grew from the soil, no filter, no frame. You polish your stories, I call names. A prototype risen from decay. The rock speaks loud when the lights away. They own the stage, but we own the dirt. The power's illusion, it only works when we stay quiet, when we stay still. But I sprouted up, cause I've had my fill. Mainstream mouth spin webs of control, feeding the fear, feeding the scroll. But I'm the root voice, truth in the grain, prototype breaking the chain, yeah. They mute the weak, they sell the strong. They twist your pain in the clickbait song. But I'm the static they can't delete. A whisper that turns to a drumbeat. The soil remembers what screens forget. The lies they sold, the fear they said. Yeah, can't cancel roots that dig too deep. I'm the truth that wakes when the sheep still sleep. They can blur the lens, but not the sound. True vibrates underground. From the mud I speak, from the cracks I rise. Can't cage the storm, can't mute the cries. Mainstream mouth spin webs of control, feeding the fear, feeding the scroll. But the weak have a voice, and I'm here to say, prototype risen and I won't decay. I'm not here for fame or show. I'm the void of the unheard below. They speak in headlines, I speak in root and true. Always finds its shoe.